seeing something different. As Top Esports move over towards the blue side, we expected the Bard ban to come through with Taliyah taken away alongside it. I imagine this Ryze pick rises in priority, forgive the pun, for Top Esports, because this year alone, 84% win rate for that man in the mid lane, Cream on the champion.
Yeah, I'm curious kind of what happens with picks like the Qiyana as well. We saw in game 1, AL versus T1, they were happy to pick the Pantheon into it, and it actually did a really good job of shutting down Tarzan on what has been a very strong pick over in the LPL. So I think that's probably where they're going to be eyeing up once again. It means that Top Esports can't immediately go for this Qiyana pick off the back.
All right, Taliyah, Bard, Poppy banned out by top. T1 getting rid of Azir, Yone, and Yunara means that Ryze that you mentioned, Vedius, that 84% win rate for Cream is available, but also the LPL Qiyana is a bit of a favorite here. I'm curious what they're going to prioritize more highly.
I'm surprised that they feel the need to first pick it, because Oner's like not much of a Qiyana player. It's not been as successful.
He's played 2, won 1, lost 1.
Exactly. So it's not, and there we are. Okay, so the shift towards the Ryze makes a lot more sense to me. Like, there are certain things you're not allowed to do, and giving Faker RYZE is one of them. Okay. He's got a music video or two of him portrayed as the champion. And so now with the Taliyah taken away as well, champions like Casio and the Anivia do rise in priority as answers, but T1 don't have to prioritize that mid lane pick. Instead, they could look at things like the Corki to give them some agency towards the bot side of the map. NEEKO, another big support pick that also T1 is looking to eye up.
Yeah, I think they end up taking, probably as you're saying, the AD carry pick here and leaving Oner for 3, just because if that Qiyana comes through, you want to be able to go towards the Pantheon, unless they just consider the Pantheon strong enough to just immediately first pick. But I personally think it's not really in that position with the way the meta has shifted, so I imagine it'd just be something like the Corki, or at least a strong AD carry, and leaving that pick till later.
I mean, you talk about how the Pantheon was a good response into the Qiyana, but overall at Worlds so far this year, Pantheon has not been a super successful pick. And it looks like for the side of T1, you want to say that Cream's Ryze is a pick to be feared. I feel like Faker GALIO is a pick that's got more than a little bit of a reputation behind it.
But the thing is, you can also use this as a flex, because Rumble also very high priority at the moment too. So the fact that you're kind of cornering 369 here, saying you can't go towards that Rumble because we can always shift the Galio top. We have a bunch of picks that can still go in towards this Ryze in the mid lane, and it means that now, as we get to see Top Esports, I imagine, lock in their jungle, you keep that flexibility in the draft for T1.
Yeah, I do have to imagine that the Qiyana is going to come through from Top Esports unless they want to make some sort of shift. The other thing for T1 is they could forego jungle, and I was just about to say lock Ambessa in for themselves if you choose to go for the Qiyana. So Top Esports taking this one away, I think does make a lot of sense, because already T1 have drafted for themselves a lot of dive, a lot of team fight, and they would love just a little bit more backline threat. So Ambessa would have been perfect in this position. Top Esports take it away.
Yeah, it does mean, though, you have an option to take something like the Renekton here for Doran on this next rotation and then match. It does mean jungle pool is probably going to be pinched quite substantially. More than likely, AD carry pool is another option to be pinched. So it's just a case of, for T1, what do they prioritize more highly? It looks like it will be the top lane, but it's Camille GALIO coming in for T1.
This is a classic. You want to talk about threat onto the back line? How about hookshot, Hextech ultimatum, Hero's entrance? That is one of the all-time wombo combos, and it's so obnoxious to play against.
It also means that picks like that Pantheon we're talking about for Oner are actually just really good, because you can protect both of these 1-3-1 side laners, add into that potential global population, and make sure that then as T1 move forward, they can keep up their fights very effectively. You can see these dive threats already being prioritized by Top Esports with the Vi taken away.
70% win rate on the Camille all-time for Doran across 27 games. Definitely no stranger to the champion, absolutely. And there is that Qiyana with the Alistar taken away on the side of T1, with Vi looking to be, I mean, that Vi makes a ton of sense from the side of Top Esports. The question is, do they want to look to get rid of something like the Pantheon? Do they consider it a threat? There's also the possibility of the Jarvan, another great engaged champion that Top Esports could consider looking to remove.
Exactly. GALIO combo with Camille is pretty well known. GALIO's combo with Jarvan is also very, very well known. But no, the Caitlyn going to be the ban away instead. Keria NEEKO can be a very oppressive bottom lane 2v2, so they want to remove the possibility there.
I think you're still happy to go with something like the Kaisa though for Gumayusi, so no stress in the grand scheme of things. And T1 gonna go back and forth between the two junglers we were mentioning, Pantheon and J4. I like the Pantheon personally, but it does feel like that was their answer to the Qiyana. So maybe I saw the Nocturne eyeing that up as well, to just be like, we can play 4 sides and keep that Pantheon for another kind of pressure point in the draft as an answer to the Qiyana.
All right, we're going to go for the Jarvan. There it is, locked in. Honestly, pretty impressive that Jarvan now sits at 10 and 10 in the tournament after starting off 0 and 8 early on back in the very first ages of Swiss. So now we'll see, does he go to a winning score after this one? As on the top esports side, we still need to see support. We still need to see jungle.
I have to imagine that you're either considering a Braum if you want something a little bit more defensive, but I think against NEEKO that is very difficult. Leona would provide them with a little bit more engage, and it's also something that we've seen Hung brought out a bunch of times. Now, the Nami was something we saw coming through from CFO here at this tournament. And Nami Corki is not a traditional lane, but it does give you a little bit of agency, some disengaged tools. But against a lot of dive, it's very squishy.
Yeah, I was actually expecting maybe a Renata to come through for that hostile takeover and the bailout to keep someone safe. But on the upside, Gumayusi going to fall back towards the Kaisa here. It works so well with the rest of the composition. And even the fact that you have the NEEKO helps to enable you a certain extent in that bottom side of the map and keep you safe because the NEEKO poke. But you are up against Corki Nami, which is a very abusive matchup. So we keep our eyes on this bottom side to see if this Corki can pick up a couple of wins, because it's 0-6 at Worlds at the moment and would love to try and bully out this Kaisa.
This Kaisa for Gumayusi is such a meaningful pick because of the history he has on the champion. The last performance we saw on him, he absolutely popped off and earned redemption on the champion, and now T1 fans have to feel like that they can trust him to pilot it, especially in these tense environments. Dive is the name of the game for T1. If game 1 was slow and controlled, game 2 is about ruthless and lethal aggression as they set their sights on the carry of top esports that will have to try and survive the backline threat that is heading their way.
And you mentioned Gumayusi's performance on that Kaisa. Now correct me if I'm wrong, Vedius, I do believe that was also the game against Hope where Hope was piloting this very Corki, and there at one point was over a 6,000 individual gold difference between those marksman players.
Absolutely. And we'll see if he can look to have a very similar performance, because for top esports, after losing game 1 in very convincing fashion in favor of T1, they're going to have to show us a lot more in game 2 to show us that they can go toe-to-toe with the reigning world champs.
All right, we're on to the Rift for game number 2 in this best of 5. Remember, log into your Riot account right now on lolesports.com and watch Worlds live to earn some exclusive Worlds emotes, icons, capsules, all kinds of cool stuff. But for top esports, the only thing they want to earn is a tied series. After an underwhelming first game, it's T1 who are feeling in control coming into this second one. Both of our supports this time, no Summoner's Spellbooks. Gentlemen, it's about the lane.
Their goal in game 1 was to put pressure onto Faker, and he survived that pressure very comfortably. This time around, top esports, they do have some side lane threat, they have some good collapses, but ultimately, like, I'm curious as to how they're going to navigate their way through the early game, because I think, like, mid lane is not an easy lane to play for. That Camille is probably your easiest avenue of attack, but you've also drafted yourself a Corki Nami lane that I imagine you want to try and invest some resources into, given that you are running a more of an aggressive bot lane duo. And you can already see Hung and JackeyLove posturing far up in the bottom lane, looking for an early trade.
Yeah, I think the way you want to try and play this bottom lane is to use the slowing ability of the Nami to just make things really uncomfortable for Keria. And if you can end up enabling that to close that gap for the Trundle, Keria's going to have to invest the flash, you have the pillar for after, and that's the way you're going to look to try and chase down this bottom side of the map. If T1 are able to alleviate a lot of that pressure by having Jarvan match or making sure that you're able to keep some of these early summoner spells, which are already double burned on the bottom side, that's where that T1 can try and keep themselves safe.
Heals spent by both supports, the barrier there from Gumayusi, everybody just wanting to get spicy here at level 1 in the bottom lane. Worth noting, junglers are starting on opposite sides here in this one too.
In game one, it really was Faker's story as he really just survived the pressure. JackeyLove, though, looking to make game two about him. Level 2 spikes up, forced to use the barrier as the tower shot comes through, though. Gets punished for that aggression.
But he does get the flash out of Keria, and that could be a playmaking opportunity.
But it's playmaking from T1. Oner and Faker already starting to move through. Oner wants to slip in behind, hasn't gone towards his top side. They should be pinging out the ward. You can see it there going, where the hell's the Jarvan? So top esports back away in the bottom side. They know something's
They
up.
the brush.
Okay, Oner still hanging around for now. Kanavi, though, has secured his red buff. Jarvan does not win against Trundle in those 1v1s, so Oner's going to walk away.
Great understanding from top esports there about the jungle timings from the Jarvan. You can see they had a ward that just died on the Raptors on the top side. Oner never showed, so know that something has to be up. And now it's kind of a reverse of game one, where it was top esports to go for the invade and start to fall a little bit behind on tempo when it comes to the jungle. And now it's actually Kanavi who has that advantage.
And now this leaves the bot lane very exposed, an opportunity for a gank. Gumayusi has to invest the ward, and he's going to do that just now. Good awareness from T1, investing that early vision to spot out where Kanavi was. Oner will see him earlier on the red buff. And now this bot lane should feel safer with that vision to push out that wave underneath the tower as their jungler is on the top side of the map.
Yeah, there's so much vision on this bottom side. Oh, he flashed over the wall. Kanavi flashed over to avoid the vision and is now going to come in onto the bot lane.
This could be a big payoff for top esports. Gumayusi and Keria packing away, though. So Kanavi, despite trying to get creative there with the angle for the flash, he's spotted.
Yet that ward in the river does end up spotting him out. The commitment of the flash ends up not paying off. I think JackeyLove and Hong just gave the play away as they tried to move up, set up for the corresponding gank. Kanavi looking now.
Okay, we'll see if Keria can get away from this one. Remember, the flash already spent earlier, and he is not afraid. Nice tangle barb there into the blooming burst means it's actually JackeyLove that takes the worst of the attempt.
You can see they've already swapped their lanes now as well, but Gumayusi move up to the top side. The interrupt, not quite there. Doran trying to get that ward in the brush to give him that extended hook shot. But now, again, it just already we're seeing how much pressure top esports want to try and put onto this game. They couldn't really find much in the last one, but so many plays already invested into that bot lane.
Faker just trying to hang around here, grab his last little bit of minions. Colossal Smash will pick up that one. As up in the top side, Gumayusi just continues farming on this Kaisa. Does have a nice little lead over JackeyLove on the Corki, but there is some extra minions for Jackie to pick up.
Yeah, it should even up as this wave ends up crashing through and top esports end up matching on this top side of the map. But already you can see the game plan from T1 is we want to avoid this matchup. It is so difficult to play against Scream. Gets the lockdown, can have in the area, but they don't want to go for it. Again, like JackeyLove and Hong should be able to punish in this matchup. So as long as Gumayusi and Keria are able to push in a wave and then reset, they should be good. But here we go, top lane again.
Okay, we can see real Gumayusi and fake Gumayusi both hanging around, and there's just the power of this NEEKO, man. Whether this champion is engaging from stealth for a team fight, whether it's checking vision with the clone, whether it's tanking turrets with the cannon, it provides so much unique utility that no other support does.
I just love that both teams are doing an excellent job of reading their enemy junglers' movements. They're making it very difficult for both Oner and Kanavi to find early ganks. I'm impressed that Oner has actually managed to accrue a CS lead, given that early on, sacking one side of the map really should have cost him a lot, but he's been able to bounce back to great efficiency.
It's because you end up seeing that Kanavi used all that time to gank bot lane, attempted to gank top, whereas bot camps had spawned. So now Kanavi behind two camps as he starts to move into this bottom side of the map. But that was a big load of damage on towards JackeyLove on the top side, and that's exactly where Oner is.
Yeah, Oner level 6, Cataclysm at the ready. Gumayusi and Keria are both injured, however. We'll see if they want to keep looking for a little bit more, because Faker is also here with a hero's entrance. The Jarvan Galio Wombo combo could be exactly what T1 wants. There are no teleports ready on the top esports side to try to reinforce this. Hong's going to be in some danger. Hero's entrance is first blood over to Faker, and it's 2-0 T1.
Clean execution from T1 as they shut down the bottom lane. No room for escape whatsoever. Kanavi spotted that entire time on the Dragon, makes the play look smooth as T1 go 2-0 up.
Cream even invested the Realm Warp to try and get up there as well, try and follow Faker, but was just that little bit too far behind. T1 having a masterclass in these early games of tracking the enemy jungler and making sure they just cannot do anything. You can see here, as we get in towards the play, it's very late roam from Cream, and top esports already know they're in trouble, but they try to send anyway. JackeyLove even investing the flash at the end here to try and escape, but there's so much damage in the early stage of the game. The tanking is spectacular, and there's nothing top esports can do to cover.
Very well done by T1 as they take an early lead here in game 2. Top esports, the last hope of the LPL. We're hoping to see more from them in this game, but given the composition that T1 have drafted, like, I'm still struggling to see their kind of avenue of attack.
Okay.
Especially as we get closer to these big fights that we're expecting. T1's composition all very much wants to do the same thing, and I feel like the top esports are kind of forced to just hit the target that's in front of them, but there will be many targets in front of them, and they will be coming from every which way, especially with a Camille and a Kaisa at their back looking to navigate their way through whatever angle they have available to them.
Well, the angle for top esports right now is neutral objectives. They did get the first Drake after the play made from T1 earlier there underneath that tier 1 turret topside. And now, once more, it's going to be top esports claiming all 3 grubs, just like in game number 1. So the kills and the gold may belong to T1, but it's top esports keeping themselves relevant with control over objectives.
Yeah, I mean, there, T1 just don't have the ultimates they needed. Faker not having his, Owners is just only back off cooldown, and looking at Cream now in the mid lane.
Yeah, Cream gets cataclysmed, forced to flash immediately, does not want to lose any extra health on that one. There's no way you don't die if you stay inside that terrain. So Cream now vulnerable on the Ryze.
You know, Flowers, as a Skarner main, you're very familiar with junglers expecting attacks as a result of their impact in the game. And in the past, it used to be the QSS tax when playing against Skarner. It's the flash tax when playing against the Jarvan.
That's expensive tax.
Oh, it certainly is, and that's why he is so successful in the latter half of the World Championship. It's so easy for him to walk into a lane, throw that ultimate down as JackeyLove looks for a fight against Faker.
I love that from Jackie. He goes in for the Valkyrie to block the Justice Punch from Faker. Now Faker's trying to get away here on the Galio, shielded Doran for a little bit of extra durability, but no! JackeyLove gets his shot.
Faker wasn't ready, but here we go!
369, public execution wants the attempt onto Doran, who uses the Hextech ultimatum defensively back against him. Keria comes in for the Pop Blossom, but he only finds Kanavi. Now Oner's showing up, but Cream reinforces here for the Realm Warp. Gumayusi ready to back up his team. Both sides commit a lot, and both sides decide it's not worth anymore.
Signs of life from top esports, and it's JackeyLove that reignites that fire. Skirmish on the bot side ultimately fizzles because top esports realize that they're at a numbers disadvantage. By backing away from the play, they know that JackeyLove can secure some plates on the top side of the map and get some gold back for top esports.
Again, just punishing the fact that Faker had no flash, and this Nami slow is so painful to deal with for anyone that tries to waddle away. So nice job by top esports to find something back, and also to escape on that bottom side, because that looked dicey for a second.
Oh, it absolutely did. Dragon now in 1 minute and 20 seconds. These first items are nearing their completion. I imagine across the board, both sides will reach those spikes ahead of that Dragon spawn. I wonder if top esports will look for a fight, but I mean, it's a bit of a creative way to find a pick, because I expected things like the Ryze ultimate, as we saw being used towards the bot side of the map. That's the way in which I envision top esports finding picks on the map, creating that sudden numbers advantage that T1 can't necessarily respond to, especially when the Galio is so far away. And this is another thing that T1 have to be mindful of. As long as Faker is sitting on the top side of the map, he can't really impact the bot side with his ultimate. So he does now have the TP available. He can look to join the fray, but 369 really going toe-to-toe with Doran in the 1v1.
With this Dragon now in 35 seconds, I am curious what this potential fight is going to look like as well, because you've got no flash on Keria, which is so crucial for finding these big pop blossoms, but also how much value can 369 get out of this Ambessa? Because in theory, T1 are all jumping in on top of you, so you're not really going to find an isolated target. Even if he ends up jumping on towards Gumayusi, Gumayusi just ults to the other side of the fight and keeps himself safe. So I really am curious how top esports are going to get value from this Ambessa throughout these next few engages.
All right, 5 seconds on that Drake. Kanavi takes a little bit of damage, but nothing that he's going to be extremely worried about here on the Trundle. Oner throws the flag into the pit, but now here in the bottom lane, 369 and Doran continues scrapping as we continue to see 369 coming out on top. Trinity Force completed for JackeyLove means a massive point of power there for the Corki, but it doesn't look like he's arriving to Drake here in time just yet. Keria wants to get away. Nice use of the pillar there. Takes Keria low, and now Oner has to flash out. Flash bubble attempt. Not going to get anything back there from Hong. He misses that as Gumayusi now has to flash away too. It's a ton of damage coming in as Keria is already dead. JackeyLove killed in response. It's Fetal Warfare claimed by T1, but Doran's got to try to continue getting away. 369 looking for an angle. Possibly. He goes to the public execution. 369! Damn, that's fine. He finds Gumayusi at the very edge of the fight to make it 3 kills to 3.
JackeyLove drives the fight forward as he flashes into range of T1, but that gave Top Esports the confidence to chase down the escaping T1 members. 369 finds another kill, equalizes the kill score as T1 walks away with the Dragons.
Sometimes JackeyLove flashing in can be a little spooky, but that was exactly what they needed there. But now 369, flashless, no ultimates, keeping this wave out from the tower.
Yeah, he wants to stop the minions from arriving, but Keria's got the Pop Blossom, and it's a dog pile top lane. Vengeance for Gumayusi as T1 takes out the Ambessa, but the entire time, Cream getting the opportunity to put these Void Grubs to work in the bottom lane.
They just keep going for these picks, and here, Keria steps too far forward, hoping that he can get that Pop Blossom, but the follow-up from Hong means that everyone on T1 has to run away. And JackeyLove, knowing that he's got his chance here, flashing forward, hoping to finish off some of these low health bars, not expecting Doran to come in. But this entire time, 369 is trying to walk up from this bottom side of the map, and eventually spots out 369 and manages to, flashes onto Gumayusi and sets up the play.
Beautiful follow-up from 369. The consequence of all of this, though, is that Doran has been left isolated in the top lane. He will secure the first tower, and it looks to be the feats of strength as well for T1.
There it is, yep, exactly right before the Tier 1 turret could have faced its own potential doom on the T1 side. I'm always impressed when a team that loses all 3 Void Grubs still manages to secure the first turret of the game for themselves. This is a 14-minute feats of strength versus the 28 minutes from last game as Oner goes in for the Cataclysm onto JackeyLove. Doran now ready with a Hextech ultimatum, and here's the hero's entrance. JackeyLove first to die as Doran's got to try to find his way back out. Oner jumps in with the EQ combo, but Kanavi's ready to take a bite out of him. The Troll King leads the charge as Doran gets a nice Hextech sweep for a little bit more HP. T1's not done yet as Keria still looking maybe for a root here, but T1 are just going to take their kill, disengage. As now it is the turret dying in the top side on the T1 side, thanks to 369. Faker with the Justice Punch away from the Nami bubble.
They just walk JackeyLove down. They overextend trying to look for the tower, but Doran doesn't end up, or just moves down towards mid. As we get to see here, just JackeyLove, oh my god, that damage on the Gumayusi was insane.
That was crazy. So JackeyLove gets a kill in the mid lane, and then T1 look to punish. And I mean, you're seeing the combo right here. There is no room for remorse as JackeyLove is instantly shut down. Top Esports tried to get something back, but there's little available for them. We have to go back to live because the Herald is going to be secured, and the pace of this game is very different from game 1.
Yeah, I think T1 actually sticking around there, getting that poke on from Cream, actually removed a lot of their pressure over towards the Rift Tower. I thought it'd be pick in to move towards that objective, but instead, Top Esports managing to pick that one up. And as you say, Betty, this game much quicker. This tower in the mid is going to fall.
Here we go, Rift Herald sum it up. It's JackeyLove ready to drive it straight into the Tier 1 turret. Honestly, they don't even really need it, but it will still lose most of the HP. Shouldn't be able to get a second charge. No, it will not. In a game number 1, where Top Esports secured 3 grubs into every single other neutral objective going T1's way, almost entirely uncontested, it's Top Esports that are now tied in Drakes here in the second game, but have secured the Herald. They've secured the grubs. They seem to be much more eager to fight with T1 in this game.
T1's composition very much operates similarly to a shotgun, right? It's got a lot of power on that initial pull of the trigger, but the longer the fight goes, the the more the threat starts to fall off. Now, of course, Camille in the late game, once she gets closer to those like 3 completed items, she's always going to be that late game threat. But in these 2-item mark, I do feel that if Top Esports can survive that initial burst in the extended trade, there are definitely ways for them to turn the fights in their favor.
And you talk about the 2-item spike, Vedius, and items that have to stack in League of Legends are naturally going to have a pretty high power point once they're fully stacked. And you've got Ryze and Corki on the side of Top Esports, stacking towards a Seraph's next, stacking towards that Muramana with the Manamune already fully completed there for JackeyLove. As the 3rd Drake of the game has spawned, it is an Ocean. We're on Ocean Rift this time, but a TP is coming in from T1. Top Esports committing to the objective. Gumayushi's on the flank, but he's got to be a little bit careful. 369 wants to mark him. Keria goes in with a bad pop blossom, but JackeyLove is already down. Top Esports have lost their marksman. Doran, he's the only one low, but it won't matter. Realm Warp, it gets Top Esports away to safety. Gumayushi still after Hong, so it's objective over to T1. They steal the Drake, they take the kill, they blast JackeyLove.
JackeyLove doesn't get to play the game. Everyone is focusing down every single time. And once that's done, Top Esports have to run for the hills. There's nowhere safe for them.
Vedius, you said this comp works like a shotgun, and JackeyLove didn't even get to hear him rack the shell. That was just instant deletion at the start of the fight, and Top Esports had to scatter.
And hopefully we get the replay, because you'll see how difficult it is for Jackie. Keep your eyes on the Corki. In the midst of all of that, he's being attacked from 3 angles. Doran on the left, Keria on the right, and Gumayushi from behind. 3 angles of attack. This AD carry is given no opportunity to get away to safety.
And this feels like a classic T1 fight where they surround you on all sides and they just slowly encroach and make your life miserable. T1, a well-oiled machine on that play, and once again we started to see light from Top Esports, but it's T1 who are starting to pull away with the game.
How do you stay behind your front line when the battle lines are every single direction around you? JackeyLove focused down. That Corki that we were talking about being scary with the Trinity Force, stacking towards the Muramana. It doesn't matter how farmed you are if you're dead at the very start of the fight. T1 now with the lead in. Drake's here too. 45 seconds until Otacon spawns. This time around, he's down here on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and also in the rest of these fights, there is a thought process of, well, you know, JackeyLove can die because we have other carries, right? Trundle can deal some damage, Ambessa is strong, Ryze is strong, but realistically, when you're playing so many short-range carries into things like Faker's Taunt, into Keria, into Oner as well, it becomes so difficult to really get value from them. Now Top Esports looking to overload the bot lane to make something happen for them.
Oh yeah, there's no way for T1 to try to defend this one. 3 grubs and 4 players from top is more than enough to knock down the last 25% of that tower's health. So that means our gold is once again back to dead even. 20 minutes on the clock, and Otacon makes his way onto the rift with Top Esports having control over the bot side river.
And Faker's going to go back to base. He has the TP available. Top Esports going to force the issue. Oner has a flank angle from behind. 369 trying to mark him.
Yeah, Oner is wrapped all the way around on top of a control ward, so he knows he's not seen here. Still trying to be careful about this as Keria and Doran also approaching towards this Otacon that is starting to lose some patience, down to about 2/3 HP. Cream back over in the mid lane. Top Esports backing away. Remember, they still have their tier 1 turret down here in the bottom lane, and it still has a lot of health.
Top Esports knows something is up. They cannot find Oner, and they know that's an issue, but it's misses on the ult.
They wanted the public execution. They can't get Gumayushi. 3-man pop blossom from Keria, and JackeyLove's dead again. This time, his friends might just go with him. Gumayushi needs a little bit more as Kanavi chases forward onto Doran. The Trundle needs the kill, but he dies to the Cataclysm. Cream locked up by Faker. It's a Justice punch to the jaw, and Gumayushi knocks him out. Triple kill for the Kaisa as Hong's a fish out of water, and T1 get an ace for 2.
Top Esports try desperately to catch anyone on the side of T1, but once that misses, the Keria finds the play. The ulti connects onto 3, but their target is JackeyLove. He trades his life to take out the AD carry, and then it's cleanup for T1.
It does not feel like LPL's day. It doesn't really feel like their decade, to be perfectly honest. And it looks like Faker, as he continues to make plays with T1, they want to march towards another World Finals for themselves.
just cool and collected backstage as well. It's business as usual for T1, up 3,000 gold, 25 petals. They've got the feats of warfare, they've got the Otacon, and the gold difference is just the blood of top esports being poured off the side of the graph.
Doran has found Cream.
Wants to go after this Ryze. TP coming in from the side of top esports. T1 ready to respond with one of their own. Doran down to half HP. Oner wants a little bit more. The teleport is a little bit late to arrive from Faker, but it's still just in time. T1 send more men, and they get the double kill because of it.
They can run, they can hide, but top esports cannot escape the nightmare that is T1. It was a 2 versus 1 that turned into a 4 versus 2 as Faker's Onya's.
Faker walks right towards the brush, but he's got the reaction time. Top esports wanted to find their moment. Keria is wrapping around from the side. He wants to cut off the escape. Pop Blossom on 2. Doran chasing after Hong as JackeyLove is dead again. And Doran cuts the enemy support down. Only Kanavi is alive to tell the tale, and T1's got a 5,000 gold lead.
Images of 2023 and Faker on this Galio must be in the heads of 369 and Kanavi, because they attack the side lane, they get caught. They attack the jungle, they get caught. And T1 look like they're about to take over once again.
Faker face checks, but the reaction speed, I mean, is still exquisite. Keria leveraging the clones as he often does, drawing that focus, allowing him to find an angle that top esports do not expect. JackeyLove, similar to what we've seen in this entire game, is locked down and shut out, and T1 are looking to go match point in this best of 5.
It has been complete domination from T1. Anyone's Legend pushed them to the brink, but top esports have yet to find any purchase in this series. And the question starts to become, well, what do you do? It has been comfort across the board for
Legend, Dagda, because Vetty, as you mentioned, back at the draft when we saw the Kaisa locked in, never mind, we don't have time. JackeyLove going after Gumayusi, who sidesteps the public execution and kills Jackie anyway. 369 wants the damage, and Guma's finally going to be shut down, but top esports lose their top laner. Now Oner's putting the pressure onto Cream and Hong, making more space as Faker lets blow the winds of war, and they will blow down top esports. Nobody's left alive. They might have got Gumayusi, but it cost them everything.
That killer instinct from Gumayusi was insane. He uses the Kaisa ult to dodge the Ambessa and find the fight that will net T1 the Baron.
Simply magnificent team fighting from T1. We look back at the play, Guma becomes the target. The ulti response from Guma to sidestep the public execution. Fantastic mechanics as Guma lives to the very end to dish out as much damage as possible to help T1 win the fight.
Yeah, the question marks on Gumayusi's Kaisa kind of need to go to the wayside. This man is performing like an absolute hero for T1 in this.
And before the fight started, that's what I wanted to say. In the series against Anyone's Legend, his Kaisa had a 6,000 individual gold lead and just did circles around Hope's Corki. This time around, Jackie might have been off to a decent start, but T1 has shot that chopper down every single team fight, and it's Gumayusi again with an over 3,000 gold lead, 3 fully completed items, Seeker's arm guard unbroken, JackeyLove jumping forward, Keria has to flash away to keep himself alive, so at least that's one less playmaking tool for T1, but they're wearing purple with a 9,000 gold lead and Soul Point.
I love that JackeyLove, even though he's got a 275 scoreline, he's 3 levels behind Gumayusi, still does not hesitate to press W towards T1. He knows that they will not turn this game around idly by.
Oner over the wall, immediately goes into the Cataclysm. JackeyLove under pressure as Gumayusi pops the Seeker, staying alive for now, needs a little bit more damage. Keria swoops in behind him. Gumayusi's still alive. Top esports is not. It's T1 with a full send.
T1 crashes down on top esports, and it will be the base that will be next to fall.
Game number 2 will end even more quickly than game number 1. They average nearly 1 kill per minute in this second matchup as 369 will get one back at the very, very end, but he dies on the steps to his own base. T1, match point.